prepare something about the sentence that changed my life, and I think it's changed your lives without you realizing it. There's a word which is actually Ironman's tagline, which is anything is possible. And so at this Triathlon Sanctuary, we all kind of came together with different backgrounds, different lives, and we stopped what we were normally doing to come here to share a week/weekend of events. Some great mornings, some great swims. Oh, sorry.
Nice.
I have a quote actually from a female participant this weekend when we all got back and we didn't have time to change at the pool because it was so cold and everyone went running inside. I'm not going to call you out, don't worry. But I remember the quote you said was, okay, I've never seen more attractive bodies in one location. Forget the camp, I'm just coming to the camp no matter what. So, there's Clay.
Amanda, I didn't know we were recording that.
That's Clay on the top of Mount Palomar today, and some Palomar today. And some people actually broke some limits. I know that Haney, who was with us yesterday, and this is actually that's not Haney. There's Christian and Matt, right? Yep. Starting up Palomar. And this is Haney, who actually never biked more than 10 miles in his life, who rode with us yesterday up Highland Valley and did about, I'd say, 65% of the ride or so. So even though he's not here, a round of applause for Haney. So let's get started with the final presentation. And it really is about what you can do, what you're capable of, because in life, you think about what happened and where you came from. You actually started as two fragments, first figments of imagination and passion, and then ultimately two molecular cells so small that you have to have a microscope to see everything that you ever were, and everything that you ever are, and everything you ever will be, came from these microscopic particles. Those same microscopic particles created a way to hurl themselves to the moon and look back at the Earth. Those same microscopic particles that you were created from, discovered, created, participated in the sport of triathlon to remind ourselves that anything is possible. Anything is possible. Of course anything's possible. I mean, if that's possible, how can you think anything else is not possible? So, what is your opportunity to challenge yourself to find something that you think is impossible beyond sport, in business, in your career, in relationships, with your greatest dream, with your greatest aspiration, with something that you may not even thought of yet, that you want to achieve or give or contribute or be? What is that? And that's, for me, something that's really changed my life in the sport of triathlon. It's a reminder, it's a consistent reminder. Even though we got in a little bit of a I wouldn't say argument, but went back and forth when I told a man I was going to retire at 20 Ironmans. Unfortunately, there's this product out there called Athlinks that reminds you how many you've done. And I remember screaming up saying, "You're retired!"
22!
So, unfortunately, I had literally lost count, but the annual event of doing something like an Ironman, or even just a triathlon, or even just a marathon, is something that can remind you of what you're capable of physically and psychologically. But I'm going to ask you, what are you capable of beyond that? What are you capable of then demonstrating to yourself, demonstrating to your soul that you can do and achieve around the world? And then with all the other people that are out there that you can inspire to achieve even better things. What's at the end of your rainbow? What is that pot of gold? My dad, who I lost in 1999, my hero, had a fan of this sentence, which is, "You know it would be great." And it used to bug me because then here comes an idea. But it was his favorite sentence. "You know it would be great." And then he'd follow it with, "It would be great if this happened. It would be great if that happened." One of his favorite things was he wanted to create a fishing lure. He was a fisherman who ended up in New York. He ended up in New York City as a fisherman because his father called him and said, "Son, the bank's closed, get a job. There's no money for college." And it was the Great Depression. So he had this idea for a fishing lure. He ended up working at NBC and then WPIX in New York, but he always had a fishing lure and he didn't want me to tell anybody, so he said, "Oh, great idea for a fishing lure. It's going to be a little mermaid. It'll be a topless mermaid, and it'll be called the Happy Hooker."
That's very good.
And that was one of the crazy ideas that was maybe a little bit out of character for him, but it was definitely something that, it's a great idea. In fact, if you Google it, there's a topless mermaid fishing lure right now. But there are so many ideas that you can have, that you can see, that you can help inspire and help create, and you can really change the world. So if you ask that question, it would be great, you could change the world. And I'll just give you a little bit of an example. Wouldn't it be great if we could take your rail pass ordering online, which is something we did in 1997? Wouldn't it be great if we could discover this enormous sport called triathlon? And this is a real picture someone sent me from this little guy who was in a triathlon and his goggles fell off, and he kept going by propping his goggles between his mouth and his nose to make sure they wouldn't fall off. So wouldn't it be great if we could discover the sport of triathlon and realize that no matter what happens in life, because listen, as tough as it is in the Ironman, you're going to hit things that are 1,000 times harder. And falling back on that passion and falling back on what you've gone through and the depths that you've gone into to push yourself to the next level, you're going to need that piece of courage that you put in your pocket many times in life. But before you need it, wouldn't it be great if we could figure out a way with no money to buy a magazine? Right? And then find investors to buy the rest of the magazine, like some of the folks that are in this room. Is Bill Hine here?
Right here.
Bill Hine, one of our participants. Christoph here, one of our great financiers and investors that backed us in these products. Wouldn't it be great if you could finish an Ironman among 3,000 people? Wouldn't it be great if you could then go to the World Championships in Hawaii? And I remember the first year I qualified for Hawaii, it was in Oahu, and the guy in front of me had cheated. And I left, I came home defeated, thinking, I didn't qualify, and then got a phone call from this woman, Robin Schuster, saying, would you like to go to race in the Ironman? I started screaming. I said, of course I want to go race. And I said, but I didn't qualify. She goes, oh, the guy in front of you, he cheated. He stopped to tie a shoelace and then turned around, and his marathon, half marathon run split, I think it was shorter, it was about 10 miles or so, was faster than any athlete had ever run in history. So he had ended up giving up his slot. So wouldn't it be great if you could change the way people register for events around the world? Thanks.
Way to go, Renee!
And create a membership product around it. Wouldn't it be great if you could look at the world and decipher it like a clue and figure out when you look at garbage that it's actually a clue to where you can generate revenue, where you can sell a sponsor logo on a garbage bag, where you can sell a sponsorship for a water bottle, to look at things differently? Wouldn't it be great to spend some time in Europe? Wouldn't it be great to reinvent software and get a chance to do it all over again and keeping a lot more of the equity? And wouldn't it be great to find your number 28? And this is a game called Chutes and Ladders, which I love. But if you remember the game of Chutes and Ladders, number 28, what happens when you land on number 28? You go all the way to the end. You get really far ahead in the game. So when I ask you, who's your number 28? Who is your number 28 in life? And are you hanging out with 28s? Or are you hanging out with 87s? Who here has an 87 in their phone book, or on their phone right now, their iPhone, or their whatever phone, Android? I see a lot of hands rolling, right? You know, the people that you answer the phone anytime they call, no matter what? I mean, you need more people like that in your life. That's something that's important. And now, to wrap up the presentation, I wanted to ask you guys to tell me what your favorite superpowers are. And remember what superpower you say. So what were your favorite superpowers? Anybody? We need a few of them. So
Fly.
to fly?
Oh, fly.
Swimming.
To swim. Who said that?
Andy.
Andy.
Time travel.
Time travel. Remember yours. That's Lewis. Who else?
Invisibility.
Invisibility. I'm worried about you. More superpowers. We need like 5 or 6 more.
Break through all barriers.
Patience. I don't know if that's a superpower, although it's a superpower. Break through all barriers. What else?
Night vision.
Night vision. Keep going, guys.
Strength.
Extreme strength. What else?
Moving stuff with your mind.
Telekinesis or teleportation, maybe? Also?
Yeah, that sounds good.
That sounds good, right? Teleportation? What else? What else? We need a few more superpowers. Think about all the superheroes you grew up with.
Fountain of memory. Fountain of youth.
Fountain of youth, never growing old, right? To live forever.
Mitch Thrower.
Some more.
Seeing the dead.
Seeing the dead. Oh.
Nice.
A few more.
Optimism. Supreme optimism.
Supreme optimism. Okay, maybe two more.
Being Julie Moss.
Being Julie Moss. Inspiring millions and millions of people to change their lives for the better, which Julie Moss has done.
Mind control.
Mind control.
That's all.
Two more?
No.
That's a lot of them. Okay. So, I present to you today that
Be the Force.
Which one?
Be the Force.
Be the Force.
Jedi powers.
Mind power, mind control, mind reading. What I would say is that as human beings, as these little amoebas, this sperm in this egg that has hurled itself to the moon and looked back, hurled ourselves on a go-kart to Mars and looked back, that you have superpowers because you've built them. We've built things that are invisible. We've had things that have given us super strength. We have the capacity to breathe underwater because we built it. You said teleportation, telekinesis, but teleportation, you can now leave this location and get anywhere around the Earth within 24 or 26 hours. And only 100 years ago, we got off the planet for the first time. X-ray vision, mind reading, telepathy. This is actually a product called no-lie MRI, which you can tell if somebody is lying just by looking at what's going on in their brain. Super hearing. Super healing. Now why? Someone said patience. Who said patience? Right? So patience is the ultimate thing that we want to have, but I would encourage you not to have. Don't have patience, because if you have patience, you're going to be patient with the fact that it took this long for your bone to heal, and you're not going to try and figure out a way to make it heal faster. If you're patient, you're not going to figure out a way to do something that you can't do today. Now you need to be patient with other people. Right?
Amanda.
Immortality. So the genetics that you have in your body have been on this earth for a long, long time. And time travel. You are in a time machine moving yourself second by second into the future. And the end of the sentence I just spoke is still a few words in the future, and now is a few words, and now it's in the past. You're moving second by second into the future in the time machine. So at this Triathlon Sanctuary, I wanted to say thank you to all of you, but also thank you to my dad for literally opening the doors to me to this sentence called, "You know it would be great." Because when Mark McKee said, "You know it would be great, we should have a Triathlon Sanctuary," he changed all of our lives. And you have the capacity to change 1,000, 1,000,000, 10 million, you know, more than that, people's lives. And so I encourage you to take from this sanctuary the term, "You know it would be great," into your lives and into the rest of everything you're working on. Thanks for coming, you guys.